Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rusty Clean 78609 with my hair wet but clean. Notice no hairy face and all that stuff, and it's Beer 30. I got my Gildan t-shirt on, a fresh one, you know what I mean? You don't want to put on a dirty Gildan t-shirt. But anyway, what we're going to talk about today is some of the good old stuff that happened in the 1950s and 1960s. And I'll tell you a couple of corny jokes if I can remember them. I got water in my ear. I can't hear out of that one. But anyway, here is, let me tell you a joke first. They're corny, okay? Have you ever heard of the medical term? These spots are from the blinds, and I've also got the AC on, so you're going to hear a fan blowing. The lighting sucks. You know, but if it looks like I've got leopard spots on me, it's because the sun's setting that way, shining through my blinds, and there's not much I can do about it, but it will be a little. Let's see if I can get it in my mouth. All right. Tastes pretty good. You ever eaten light? Well, I just did. But anyway, here's one. Do you know, this is the medical term that I heard in the 60s called optical rectitis. Not many of you have ever heard of that, but optical rectitis is a disease. Actually, it's caused by when your optic nerve is connected to your anus and you have a crappy outlook on life. That's called optical rectitis. Now, what else? Here's another one, a biggie from that same era. The creeping mogus. And I won't give it to you in the plain form. I'll give it to you in the sort of correct form, but you can imagine what the other form would have been. The creeping mogus is when you break out in little anuses and poop yourself to death. Now you can dress that up the way I should have said it, but if I did, I wouldn't get Walt Disney ads on my channel. So, what are we going to talk about now? Do any of you remember, you guys, some of you gals may have done it too, siphoning gasoline, as in stealing gasoline from other automobiles so that you would have gasoline to cruise around town on? You're all, some of you guilty, aren't you? You know what I'm talking about. Gasoline tastes like poo-poo in your mouth, doesn't it? But anyway, back in the 50s and the 60s, early 60s, what you could do is you could get this little garden hose looking thing, or a garden hose would probably work, but just a piece of hose that was about 4 feet long was good, because you had to have enough hanging out to reach your container. And so what you would do is you would put the hose, insert hose A into gasoline tank opening B until you reach the gasoline tank. Then use mouth C, suck a little bit until you get it going, kind of running, you know what I mean? Because you suck it up till it goes over the hill, and then it'll run on its own. You got to spit like crazy for a few minutes, but you get it out of your mouth pretty quickly, and then you drink a beer and you're all right. So, and then you let it run in a container until you have 5 gallons of gasoline that you borrowed from someone else at no charge. Apologize. I'm not apologizing. Hell, it's the way it is. Maybe I can do something about that. Let's see. Hold on. Let me pause. I think I found one of those solutions. But anyway, back to stealing gasoline. Oh, excuse me. I didn't say stealing. Borrowing gasoline from other people's cars. Did we do that? Not often, but there were occasions, even though gasoline was cheap, that we didn't even have cheap. You understand? We didn't have pennies. You know, a Coke was 6 cents. A gallon of gasoline was about 12. Was that right? Maybe less. It might have been less, because you could go in a movie for 20 cents. You know. But anyway, enough said. One night at the quote Creamy, which is the equivalent of a Dairy Queen or a little hangout for kids and when they're growing up, if you remember the Fonz and all that stuff, they had this little place they kind of hung out around. Well, this is a drive around. You could park outside or go in, whatever. Anyway, one night, me and my brilliant buddies, who were all together, we had an IQ of about 80, and we were sitting inside and we're thinking, you know, if we had enough gas, we could go to Corn City, which was 5 miles away, and back. You know, and kind of cruise Corn City and then come back and cruise here for a while. But we don't have enough gasoline to do that. So immediately a thought popped into our mind, well, why don't we borrow some from our friends? And about that moment, one of the largest football players on our team came in, and his brother. I won't mention their names because they may still be alive and they may come get me. But no, they were freaking giants, okay? But they were also pretty well off, and they drove nice automobiles, and they always had a full tank of gas. But anyway, they parked on the side where we could get to them easy. The gas, you know, the gas thing, the gas, the entrance to the gas tank, I can't think of the name, was on the side facing away from the little creamy thing. So we immediately set out our spotters, got the 5-gallon can, got the hose going, and we're standing there kind of with our hands in our pocket looking guilty as hell while they were inside. Well, guess what? You know, they just went in. You know, you would think they would go in and sit down and visit with all the kids inside, and then 10 minutes later they'd come out and we would have borrowed the gasoline and been gone. Unfortunately for us, they came out early. So there we were with a 5-gallon can, a hose sticking out into a tank, and somehow we had to remove that completely without them seeing us while they got in the car. The hose was on the opposite side of the driver, okay, which was a godsend, okay. Had it been on the same side as the driver, we were dead, you understand? Dead. I mean, physically evaporated. But anyway, that rattling noise you hear is that air conditioner. When it, for some reason, on hot days it does that. Cooler days it doesn't. And so anyway, enough said. Back to the car. So here they come out, and fortunately, one of the brothers, the biggest one, you know, told his other brother, "So you go ahead. I'm going to ride home with old so and so." You talk about breathing life. Because when the other brother got in on the driver's side, we were able to hold on to the hose while he drove off, and we're laying on the ground, okay? So here he goes driving off around the dirt. It just had a little horseshoe driveway. Anyway, enough said. That was the siphoning gas story. Did we ever? We didn't do much of that. We might have done it 600 or 700 times. No, I'm kidding. We might have done it 10 times. I don't know. We didn't really need gas that bad. It was more the thrill of the thing. The thrill of the chase. But the typical small town stuff, you know, you'd ride around circles, and you'd follow the girls, and if you didn't follow them, they'd follow you. You know, it was that kind. Then we did this thing called what was it called? Rat racing. I mean, I'm sure you guys remember that, where you go around the corners real fast in town, but you know, we never got stopped by the police. Enough said about that. But you know, that's how much different the world is today from what. You know, back then, you know, if you'd gotten caught red-handed by the city policeman, he wouldn't have done anything. He'd just told our parents, and that would have been worse. But you wouldn't have been put in jail. They wouldn't have called a SWAT team. You know, they wouldn't have had an EPA there and all that stuff. That's how much the world's changed. But having said all that, what else can I tell you? It's a good world we live in. It is the world we live in. And if you stay away from television and focus on what's around you immediately, I think you'll find that it's all okay. It's all okay. Not much has changed. You know, you're still doing the same thing you've always done. You're still eating. You're still drinking beer and all that stuff. This is a big party weekend, so to speak. And you know, it's going to change, guys. I mean, it's going to change for the worse. I'm kidding. You know, no, it's going to change for the better. It'll just take. Oh, it's beer 30. I forgot. I almost forgot my celebrity guest, Cerveza. That is pretty good. So what can I tell you guys? You know, it's Friday night, right? July the 3rd. It's Independence Day Eve, and enjoy the hell out of it. You know what I mean? Just turn the TV. Well, don't watch the news. You know, watch a good movie. You know, watch a Robin Williams movie, or watch George Carlin stuff, or you know, something that's kind of got a little humor in it and a little truth too. And you know, I wish I could think of some really good movies that I've watched, but I can remember pieces of it. It's kind of like parts of a song. But you know, as far as a favorite movie, you know, the movies I watch are like, you know, elevator music. You know what I mean? You know, they're just really easy stuff. You know, what was the movie with? See, I got these nailed, don't I? What was it called? I was born under a wandering star. Lee Marvin, and Clint Eastwood was in it, and it was called Paint Your Wagon. Watch that one tonight. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, it's kind of a musical thing, but it's a comedy western. A lot of good stuff, a lot of humor. Anyway, guys, from Central Texas, or near Llano, Texas, thumbs up. Carpe diem. Adios. Bye-bye. Carpe diem means seize the day. In other words, get it. Yeah, what else? Adios. Bye-bye. Buy anything you want, but if you think about it, use the Amazon link. You just click on the link in the description. Takes you to Amazon. Buy whatever you want. You don't have to buy what it takes you to. But anyway, what else? You know, drink plenty of water, stretch, walk. All of this, all these endings that I come up with, it's just to focus your attention on your health. Is that important? Well, when you're 75 years old or fixing to be like me, you know, you wish you'd have taken better care of yourself. But you know, actually, I did. Since I was age 28 in that range, I've exercised, and I didn't really try to eat all that well, but I did exercise on a regular basis, and I think that helped a lot. And in the last 15 or so years, I've focused a little more on my diet, and I don't eat near as much, and I try to eat stuff that's reasonably healthy, like pizza. Oh, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I don't eat. I do eat pizza, but not maybe once a month. I'll get one. I could get a pizza now, couldn't I? But never mind. Just thinking out loud. But anyway, guys, enjoy your day. Stand guard, door your mind. Adios, amigos. Hasta luego. Adios. Aloha. Enjoy your weekend, and just remember, just hope you don't get. If you think this virus is bad, think about the creeping mogus, huh? Think about that, or Optical Wreck. You know, this stuff is nothing compared to those two. Anyway, adios, amigos. Bye bye.